Eu sou Gabriel, diz o texto em hebraico. São 87 linhas escritas com tinta, algumas apagadas pelo tempo, no que seria uma conversa do anjo Gabriel com um profeta desconhecido.
Foi aqui nessa região, nos desertos, ao redor do Mar Morto, onde encontraram a pedra que os arqueólogos chamaram de revelação do anjo Gabriel. Não se sabe ao certo quem encontrou a pedra, mas o fato é que ela foi levada para um antiquário que fica a poucos quilômetros daqui, na Jordânia, e lá vendida a um colecionador suíço. Só que na época, isso foi no ano 2000, nem o colecionador, nem o dono da loja sabiam da importância que essa pedra pode ter.
Numa das últimas linhas, Gabriel anuncia algo que acontecerá no terceiro dia, mas logo em seguida uma palavra ilegível deixou os estudiosos em dúvida.
Porque o professor Knohl entende...
O curador da exposição, o argentino Adolfo Reutemann, explica que não dá para saber ao certo se o texto fala que no terceiro dia vai haver um sinal ou uma ressurreição. Seja qual for a palavra, para o teólogo brasileiro que estuda a história das religiões aqui em Jerusalém, a importância é praticamente a mesma.
Se é verdade, e a pedra precede o período dos textos do Novo Testamento, dos evangelhos que nós temos, que anuncia isso, significa que esse universo aí que está anunciando na pedra é o universo que será continuado e confirmado quando Jesus morreu e ressuscitou.
Então é uma confirmação sobre Jesus Cristo que não está na Bíblia? Ou só uma interpretação duvidosa? Os estudiosos ainda vão levar algum tempo para revelar.
What is the Gabriel revelation?
It's an inscription written on stone. It was discovered in Transjordan and it is an apocalyptic text. It was written about the time of the birth of Jesus. The text was written as a response of, I would say, a tragedy which happened in the year 4 BCE. 4 BCE is the year when Herod died, and immediately after his death there was a great rebellion in the land. They had 3 different messianic leaders. The Roman army came from Seria, 3 legions, and they crushed the rebellion. Instead of getting freedom and independence, they got bloodshed, destruction, burning of cities.
So the Gabriel Revelation stone was written in response to that event.
Yes.
Afterwards.
It is connected to a specific group, a group which were supported of one of the leaders, of the messianic leaders. His name was Simon. He wanted to redeem the Jewish people, but he was killed by the Romans and their supporters. What does it mean for this messianic leader? Is the fact that he was defeated, was killed, his body was left outside, is a proof that he was a false Messiah? This is the question that we have to face. And the answer that they gave is, in my view, the essence, the most important part of this document. They went back to scriptures, and on the basis of this scripture they formulated for the first time what I would like to call a theology of catastrophical messianism, namely that the humiliation, suffering, death and resurrection of the Messiah is an essential part of the process of redemption. Redemption would not come until the Messiah would be humiliated, killed, and come back to life after 3 days. Their answer is, no, he was not a false Messiah. He was a true Messiah. The failure is part of the divine plan.
How does this either match or contradict the accepted theology of the death of Jesus?
So what scholars are saying usually is like this. This has no historical value at all. It was all fabricated after the crucifixion in order to explain what happened. They want you to believe that Jesus already then predicted his future. And why it is always a saying, this is a secret, keep it as a secret. This is in order to cover the fact that in truth, Jesus never said that he is the Messiah. They say, it is impossible that Jesus spoke in this language because the conception of a suffering, dying and rising Messiah was not part of Judaism of the time of Jesus. But now something dramatically new happened. We have this text written in the time of the birth of Jesus. So the historical Jesus could very much indeed speak in this language, because the concept of a suffering, dying and rising Messiah was known in the time of Jesus. It was a concept which developed in a small circle of Jews in the time of Jesus. These were the followers of Simon. They lived around the Jordan. Peter and all the other disciples, they were from the area of the Sea of Galilee. They didn't hear about it. They had the regular view of Jews about the Messiah, which was a fighting, triumphal Messiah like David. Who heard about such a thing? But Jesus, he had some connection to this group. Probably, it's my assumption, in the time when he stayed with John the Baptist on the Jordan. So this is the basis of the misunderstanding between Jesus and his disciples. He knew about his ideology, they didn't know. So my claim is, it is historical. The predictions are historical.
How does this revelation, this information, change the way Christians and Jews will look at both that period and the theories of Messiah?
Now we can very much understand what was the main path that Jesus took. He had this conception of a suffering, dying and rising Messiah. He wanted to be this Messiah. He saw this is his mission. So in my understanding, he planned everything. I mean, the way he behaved in Jerusalem, the disturbance that he made in the temple with, the merchants, it was planned. He wanted to be captured by the Romans and killed by them because he believes that in this way he will bring redemption to Israel. And when I speak about redemption, I speak about national redemption. So when the Romans put the title on the cross, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, they knew very well what they are talking about. He wanted to be the King of the Jews because he believed that after he will shed, his blood will be shed, God will come from heaven, kill the enemies, the Romans, and redeem Israel. This is the hopes that we can see in the Gabriel revelation. Seeing this shed blood, God will come and redeem his people. We can see now the common roots. There was very, very close connection between Jesus and the Jews of his time. They wanted to achieve the same thing. And the separation came later. Separation caused misunderstanding on both sides, in a way. But when we go back to the common roots, we can see very well that Jesus belonged very much to the messianic expectations of some Jews of his time, and that Judaism and Christianity actually have the same root. The understanding of the suffering and dying and rising Messiah, which was common and shared both by Jews of the time of Jesus and Jesus himself.
Do you feel that your book, which is being published soon, is going to make people think about things in a different way?
It should change completely our understanding of the historical Jesus, because it gives enormous credibility to the story about Jesus in the Gospels. But on the other way, we should take off from Jesus later conceptions which wanted to take from him this part of the national fight for the liberty of the people. He was actually, I would say, a very devoted and national Jew who wanted to sacrifice his life in order to redeem his people.